All right, before we get into the intro, Wolf, you've got a pretty dope thing you just showed me.
Yeah, so, let's see here. Some years back, a buddy of mine gave me these, stainless steel Wolverine replica.
Jeez, that
They,
makes X-Men Wolverine look even worse. The fact that they could have just given him some replicas to hold in that bathroom.
I know, right? These are pretty sharp. They don't, spark. Like, he's, in the bathroom. He's like, oh, how do I turn the sink on? Oh,
Yeah.
you know. But, yeah, these are pretty cool.
Yeah, and it doesn't look as stainless steel as those ones in X-Men
Right.
Origins. But you said you cut yourself a few times when you first had those?
When I first got these, I was trying to be cool, and alcohol may or may not have been involved, but I accidentally sliced my hand. But yeah, these bad boys are.
Was it serious or was it like Nick's?
No. It was it was just there was some blood, but it wasn't I didn't have to go to the hospital or anything. But how cool would it be to do a cooking show with just
There's going to be a lot of kebab recipes.
Exactly.
All right, so I'm going to ask Wolf to get a nice, beautiful picture of those, and we'll put it on the Instagram at X Minutes. But those are beautiful.
I know, right?
You said they're heavy, too?
Yeah, they're pretty heavy.
Jeez, I wonder how much your friend spent on that. I imagine.
Well, he would sell different items. So he sold he gave these to me as a gift, but he sold a lot of these. He sold a lot of blades, replica sword. He sold. I don't think he had any Deadpool swords, but he had a lot of replica items and stuff. So it's pretty cool.
Maybe he
I don't know if he
had
still does it.
The Deadpool.
Blades. That would be funny. I think he had Raphael's size too. I should have got those.
Nice.
That would have been cool. Yeah.
That's awesome. That's super cool.
Heck yeah.
All right. Whoops. All right. Welcome back to Minute 9. I'm Brian.
Wolf.
And this is X Minutes, the podcast that breaks down the, at the time of filming, longest running single continuity superhero franchise ever. Not in number of movies, but just in pure time. Breaking it down minute by minute. We are on minute 9 of X-Men 1.
Mm-hmm.
And I normally would say, what happened, Wolf? But we haven't watched the minute yet. So I'm going to edit to us after we watch it. All right, so Wolf, we just watched that minute. What happened with our boy in the chair?
Yeah, right after he notices the mysterious figure, and he being Professor X, he follows the man out into the hall, and then we find out that in fact is Magneto. And I love their back and forth. I think the strongest part of this film, or strongest point of this film, besides the Wolverine narrative or the Rogue narrative, I think the friendship between Professor X and Magneto, it really it kept my attention throughout the entire movie. It made them
big reason Matthew Vaughn. That's a big reason Matthew Vaughn centered the prequel on their relationship.
Yeah.
First Class.
It just it showed that, because when I first watched this, I had no idea about their history or whatever together, to that extent. But I was thinking to myself, I'm like, there might be something more to this than just kicking the crap out of each other every now and then. They were friends at one point, so. Yeah, that's really interesting.
And when he's looking at him, at this mysterious guy leaving, who we find out is Eric, he looks more terrified than he did when he was looking at all the people clapping like sheep. And Eric's booking it out of there as fast as possible, which is interesting to me because Charles stops his wheelchair pretty slowly.
Yeah.
He caught up to him quickly, but then let it like glide to a stop, which we get an X looking a lot like the X-Men logo in the wheels.
Yeah.
And says, "What are you doing here?" But we get a long amount of time where his face is completely in shadow.
That is
And
cool.
we get their names, Eric and Charles. And
Mm.
I've heard these arguments before, but we technically don't get confirmation that he's the boy in the beginning, but it's a little hint for now.
Yeah.
And it's interesting how Charles's eyes change when right before Eric taps his why am I blinking? What's
The
this
temple.
part of your head?
The temple.
The temple. Right before he taps his temple. It says, "You sneaking around here, Charles?" And then we remember the senator saying some mutants who can go into your mind and control
Yeah.
you.
You know, it's
It
interesting
says,
too that
oh,
like knowing Charles can get into his mind. He doesn't even care. He's not wearing any of his protective shit or anything like that. So it's
yeah,
like,
not at this point.
yeah, he's like I mean, I don't know if he has nothing to lose at this point, but I think his plan is already moving along so well that he really doesn't care at this point.
And I wonder if him asking that was like a trick to get him to stop because he knew he'd be doing it, so he wouldn't
Yeah.
get too far into his plan. But we get him turn around at that point, and we see his face, and I mean, they both got faces made for the screen. Just
That was a nice reveal.
yeah,
You
it's
know,
interesting how his face was completely in darkness, even though behind him it's so bright.
right. You know, like back in the day, I didn't know Sir Ian McKellen and Patrick Stewart's history together, but like in theater school or whatever, they would have us watch some like instructional videos from like what is it? I think it's the some Royal Academy of Theatre in London, and they worked together for many years. And I was like, oh crap! Wow, they've always looked pretty old, but you can tell they're younger in those videos. But they have some acting chops. It's fantastic that they cast these two gentlemen.
Yeah, they've had a long friendship, and
Okay.
what was I gonna say? I'm forgetting. The last thing we get is him saying, "I'm looking for hope."
Oh yeah.
The minute cuts out. But this is, I believe, the first thing I'd seen either of them in, especially Patrick Stewart. I hadn't seen Star Trek. Actually, I may have, but I remember seeing as a kid The Next Generation, but I don't know if I saw that first or this first, but possibly this.
Yeah, Star Trek is fantastic.
Yeah, I definitely saw Next Generation before seeing the original with James T. Kirk.
Let's see.
But yeah,
Here. You know
we
what
get
I
a
do
sense of
like?
history.
What were we saying?
I was just saying we get a sense of history between these two characters.
Yeah. You know, set wise, I like how. I mean, there are certain parts of the film that like kind of like try to like bump up the futuristicness a little too much, but I like how everything's all like glass around them.
Yeah.
You know, glass and like steel.
Yeah, it's nice. And we get a reveal that I forgot to say that the bald gentleman who's Charles is in a wheelchair. We hadn't seen his wheelchair before this point.
Oh yeah.
And the
That
first
was
shot was
interesting.
with the X logo.
Looks like let's see here. My DSLR just cut out. I gotta change the battery again, but no worries. But yeah, so that's what I got for this scene.
Yeah, and looking back at when the wheelchair comes into frame, it's interesting to see how many reflections of Eric there are in just this curved
Oh
hallway
wow!
with
I
all
didn't
the
even
glass.
realize that. Wow.
Yeah, I first
Those-
realized it because when the wheelchair comes in, there's a point where you can see his reflection on the left through the wheelchair, and then I noticed all the other reflections.
Yeah, that's
Yeah, I
really
wonder
dope.
if this location is actually in the Capitol building or if they went to a different location because it looked cool.
Yeah, I wonder. Like you can see, there are a lot of X's too, with all the pipes and
I
pillars and stuff.
had thought of that. That
Like
makes so much sense.
the location scouting is magnificent in this part.
I was literally just thinking fractal, but I wasn't thinking X's.
Oh yeah.
I remember when X-Men Days of Future Past hadn't come out yet, I saw two cranes in an X shape, and I was like, they're really advertising everywhere they can, aren't they? But yeah, that's what I have for this minute. Let me see. Eric is in black and white. Eric is in black and white, and Charles is in more gray and silver and a little purple. So it
Okay.
kind of maybe that was an intentional choice to reflect their characters. Charles sees the gray area, and Eric is seeing everything in black and white.
Oh wow. Yeah, that's a really good observation. You know, because I mean, Eric is just like, he's more of a, he's like, what is it called? He's trying to get revenge all the time. He's like, these humans need to pay, or yeah, these
Yeah,
regular people need to pay.
the world is very binary to him, and we even see in the ties. Charles has a white tie, probably for hope, and then Eric's is a dark red tie.
For blood
That's
and
the only splash
vengeance.
of color he has. What'd you say?
Blood and vengeance, or whatever.
As we see in First Class later.
You right?
Yeah, that's all I've got for this minute.
Yeah, me too.
Cool beans. That was X Minutes, Minute 9. I've been Brian.
I've been Wolf.
And check out the Instagram X Minutes, and we'll have our usernames in the description there too. So follow us there and continue the conversation. See you in minute 10. Double
Peace
digits
out.
soon.